In the brand new Tokyo Game Show trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake, we got our first actual in-game look at summons. So until now, we knew that there will be summons in the first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake because there are 3 that are going to be available in various forms in DLC, so specifically the Chocobo Chick, Cactua and Carbuncle. But we've now actually gotten our first look in-game of both Ifrit and Shiva, and it is very exciting to see. So obviously there is still a lot we need to discover and learn about how they all intertwine into the game gameplay wise. But one, we got to see cinematics of both of them in the game. Something I think is very interesting about this is that these were summons that were obtained later in the game, so to see them now come into the Midgar part, obviously there are changes there. 2, in terms of their design, not only do they look beautiful, but they've actually been brought down to size to sort of fit in more relatively to the environment and into the characters. So because in the previous actual Final Fantasy VII game, they were almost godlike in terms of size. They were something that you wouldn't essentially see be able to play well into the actual summonings of the game without destroying the whole environment. So this is cool to see that they're sort of now more toned down size-wise. But it was interesting to see how they actually played alongside the characters. So with Ifrit, it was interesting. When we saw him, one, we got to see him actually fighting alongside Cloud. Whether we can control him or not, that is something still to be determined, but we could see there was a meter alongside Ifrit. So whether once you summon him, he goes out and does his own things, but he's on a timer, that'll be something to find out, or whether you can sort of give him somewhat of, sort of automated commands and he will attack to that degree. Now we could only see Cloud in the party at that point, so whether Cloud had the Ifrit materia equipped, and by summoning him and having him actually fight alongside you, you lose access to the other party members. That's something we still don't fully know yet, because when we saw the actual Shiva summon, we saw her doing her sort of animated cinematics, but we could still see 3 characters in the party being controlled by Aerith obviously at the time, and we didn't see any meter for Shiva. But again, we saw Shiva more in her cinematic, which we also saw a part of with Ifrit. So maybe at the end of their sort of turn, or when the meter runs out, they actually do somewhat of sort of like a final cinematic attack and they take down the enemy, or have sort of like a heavy hitting attack, which I've seen a lot with things like limit breaks and stuff in other JRPGs. When you get to the end of it, for example something like in Kingdom Hearts, we saw that sort of happen. So it'll be interesting to sort of see how this all plays into the game. I think it would be very cool if they have some form of controllability, or at least again you can maybe influence how long they stay in battle depending on how much damage you maybe take, sort of maybe how much you level up their materia. Maybe you can get them for longer, maybe they can do more attacks. It'll be something really cool to find out, but regardless, I'm very excited to see these 2 characters in the actual game, and especially this first part of the game, because they were ones that I foresaw that how will summons work in this game? One, if we're fighting in a lot of enclosed spaces, but 2, a lot of these summons, if not all of them, were obtained after the Midgar section of the game. So how many more summons we will see in this actual first part, that's to be determined, at least outside of those that have been revealed to us both in-game and as DLC. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited to learn sort of what is required to be able to summon them, if it's something that adds an extra element of challenge. Like you can't just simply summon them when you will, depending on your magic and stuff. Maybe there are certain gauges or meters that have to be fulfilled to be able to summon them, and then you have them for that set period of time. But regardless, very excited to hear. So let me know your thoughts below. How excited are you to finally see Ifrit and Shiva, and just summons in general incorporated into this game? We've always wondered how they would work, whether it would be just a single summoning and they do their attack, whether they would be a party member, whether it would be somewhat of an automated party member instead of a controllable party member. Regardless, I'm super excited. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you really enjoyed the Final Fantasy VII TGS trailer. And until next video, stay spot on.